We'll open our meeting with the pledge and invocation. Mr. Campbell.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please join me in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the opportunity that you've given us tonight to come together to serve the students and families of Carroll County Public Schools. We pray tonight that you continue to bring guidance and healing to our nation as we work to overcome the many obstacles that we're presenting. As our local leaders come together tonight to do the business of Carroll County Public Schools, we ask that you provide them with wisdom, courage, and grace in all that they do. In your name we pray, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Before we get into our agenda, I'll just say that public comment time, we try to stick to this as close as we can. It's at 6 o'clock. If any of you's here and wish to speak, rather, we ask that you sign up outside. There's a list out there, and we'll of course stop our meeting at that time and move forward with our public comment. Next on our agenda is presentation of Teacher of the Year. Mr. Questenberry.
Thank you, gentlemen. This is, to me, the biggest moment of the year to nominate and to recognize our division Teacher of the Year. It's a great honor. I'm just happy to be a part of it. And we have a wonderful winner this year, very deserving. And this time I would like for Mr. Shane Wood to come up and introduce our division Teacher of the Year.
Good afternoon. This year's Teacher of the Year is Miss Danielle Perry. She's been with the county for about 7 years. We hired her straight from Henry, green off the farm. And she has grown and blossomed into quite a remarkable teacher. She asked me at one point in time, what's my chances of winning this? I said 1 in 10. Because I believe everybody's as proud of their teacher's nominations as I am of mine. But she is very well deserving of this. She has grown tremendously since that first year. She is a great teacher. She's great at building relationships with children. And we all know that's what it's all about. If you can get that relationship, you can get them to do anything that you want them to do. She's been instrumental in getting several kids graduated just by her sheer determination that they're going to. She's a great addition to Carroll County. She's done a fantastic job, and she's very well deserving of this honor. Ms. Perry?
Want me to say something?
You're welcome to say whatever you would like. I would add, 7 years ago, we interviewed Danielle at the middle school. And then Mr. Wood interviewed her at the Ray Center. And after we both interviewed her, we both wanted her. And we said, well, let's give Danielle her choice. And she chose the Ray Center because of her story and what she thought she could accomplish over there.
Would you mind sharing a little bit of your story with us?
Yeah, sure. So I guess for me, I was lucky. Growing up, I always wanted to be a teacher from the time I was like 5 years old. This isn't going to be a life story, don't worry. But it really started to kind of like gel and become what I really wanted to be, which was an English teacher with special education endorsement as I got older. And then by the time I was doing these interviews, you know, I was like, I want to teach high school. This is it. Like, I'm for sure high school, maybe middle school, but I think high school. And then I went to that one. It was normal school. It was all like regular, and I was like, okay, this is what I expect. And then I went to the Ray Center, and I was like lost. I was downstairs. The custodian, who is amazing, he found me. He's like, honey, and I was like, where do we go? So he brought me up to the interview room. And I was like, it's just this hallway? Like, this is the school? So I felt very strange. But then, you know, they started to tell me what the school was about. I was like, what's your rule for kid testing? And apparently that was a good answer. But that was so strange because nobody asked me that in any other interview I was ever at. But that's because the purpose of the RAE is to help the kids who need that little bit of extra understanding, a little bit of extra care, a little bit extra attention, and who can withstand a little bit of extra language, a little bit extra distraction, a little bit extra. And that was my brother. He had severe ADHD. He had huge problems with authority. I can never remember the specific term for it. And at 17, he went to juvie, and he didn't graduate from high school. And he's one of the most brilliant people I know. He's super intelligent. You hear him talk about football and everything. He memorized all the names, and I'm like, dude, like, he didn't graduate from high school, and he's just smart. And I know, like, after learning about the RAE Center and what they do for kids, I know that if my county had a school like that, his life would have been so much easier. I mean, he was in and out of jail. Like, he had to get his GED, which he did easily, because he's intelligent. But had he been able to graduate from high school, I just know he would have had an easier life at the get-go. And that's what tipped me. So that's why I didn't teach at the middle school, even though the RAE was different and it was weird and it was smaller, and I was like, oh gosh, okay, like, I guess I'll try. It was worth it. I mean, a lot of the kids we get are kids who just don't gel with the regular population, which is fine. You know, when they're with the regular population, I'm sure they're crazy, like mayhem, super hard to deal with, and that's fine. When they come to our population, it's smaller, and suddenly we get to see them for their individualities, who they are as a person, you know, and we get to communicate with them a little more clearly, and suddenly we get to pull all those positives out of them. You know, there's some kids that come to the RAE because they were kicked out of Carroll County, you know, at the RAE because they have to be, who then become president of the JVG, like all of the JVG. And that's just what we do. So I love the RAE, I love where I work. But yeah, that's my story.
I wanted you all to hear that.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Would you share with the board members what you did in lieu of the yearbook? Because we didn't have a yearbook for the RAE.
Oh, okay, so this was a while ago, when I was young and energetic. When I first started teaching, I remember one of the first things was the RAE didn't have a yearbook, and I saw all these kids, and I'm like, but when do they get to see themselves, like their own reflections? And so I asked Woods, and he's amazing at accommodating like my crazy ideas and being like, just make it school. And I'm like, okay, make it school. I asked him, and he's like, go for it. And so I got a few of my seniors, and we created our own senior newsletter that we gave out at graduation that year. And it was almost like all the things that you usually see in the senior section of the yearbook, except for it was the RAE, just the RAE. They talked about their favorite teachers, they talked about their favorite classes, favorite moments, favorite memories, senior spotlights, all those other things. And then, you know, we went out, got it printed out, and were able to hand it out to all the seniors. And it was awesome, and I would love to do it again, but I stayed after school about 3 hours a day for the last like month of school when I did that, and I realized that that's something I'm not going to be able to maintain. But it was worth it with the kids. So yeah, that was one of the really fun things I got to do with the kids.
That's great. Thank you so
Yeah.
much, and congratulations. We appreciate you
Thank you.
sharing that.
The teacher of the year usually sings or dances.
I'm good.
And again, thank you so much. That kind of passion's, that's the kind of thing that it takes to make this work every day, the way that it does. Wonderful. Next on our agenda is recognition of VSBA 2021 Media Honor Roll. Dr. Burnett.
At this time, Mr. Brawls, would you please come forward? We'd like to recognize Mr. David Brawls of the Carroll News for his fair and balanced reporting on school division and education-related topics. His works aided this community in focusing on the goal of providing the best public schools we can for the students who attend them. And David is always fair in his reporting, and we just appreciate it. He's here at every single meeting, anytime we have anything that needs to be taken pictures of, or, from the ag fair to the first day of school to the back-to-school bash, it doesn't matter, David's here, regardless of what time of day. So, we appreciate you, David.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you take your own picture?
Yeah, I'm gonna let you down. I'm not gonna be able to take this. Might I impose on someone who wanted to be a photographer? Would you?
Mark, I think.
You want to take it? Okay.
This is your chance to do a selfie.
Sit on the board.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1 more. I will send those to you. Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you, David. Thank you. All right, moving on, recognition of Teacher of the Month, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you. This time I'll ask the principals, Dr. Edwards and Ms. Questenberry, to come forward to do the honors of recognizing our Teacher of the Month. Thank you, Dr. Edwards.
It's a pleasure to talk about Carroll Whitaker. You can't say enough good things about her. If you did, you'd be here all night. The list would be a mile long. She doesn't, though, seek out praise and recognition, and she's a little bit shy about that. She will shy away from the spotlight and put the attention on her colleagues and on her students. And I saw something just a minute before I came in here that sort of sums her up. On Facebook, of all things, you're like, okay, that's gospel, here we go. But it actually said, I don't want to be a star, I want to make them feel like stars. And that's what she does. Everything from setting up her classroom to creating lessons, she does to motivate her students. Everything she does is for the kids. Going to her room is like going to Disneyland. I don't know if you've ever walked by Gladesboro by her room. It's all Mickey. It's all about the Mickey, so it's great. They love it. Kids are just, and they're learning there. That's a wonderful thing. Many times she says, I just love the kids. I just love teaching. I just want to teach. And that's what you want a teacher to do. That's the kind of teacher you want to have. The colleague who nominated her commented on how much she loves going in her classroom because the kids are having so much fun and they're learning. Her relationships with students and families they remain in contact years after the student's gone. She was showing me a text she got just this morning from a parent or a grandparent whose student has gone on past her. She spent hours and hours and hours during COVID recording lessons so that first graders could participate in Letterland. And we all know that first grade is very difficult. The younger the students, the harder it is to virtually teach them. And she also works with Letterland with the teachers and as a mentor. And she's successful and she's made a big difference in the lives of students and other colleagues. So she is most deserving. And we'll leave it to Ms. Questenberry. Twice
Ms. Whitaker is the most energetic teacher that I have ever seen. She's on fire every day. She doesn't waste a single precious second. She's the most modern, traditional teacher that you'll ever find. She stays up to date on all the technologies, how to engage students, methods for imparting information, and I would just say that she is a pro at engaging students. She sets high expectations for her students all day, every day, and in all settings. In the words of Ms. Whitaker, If you treat them like they're older, they're gonna act like they're older. And she also finds value in teaching her students those good old-fashioned values as well. I think we call those soft skills these days. I guarantee that you'll never find a first-grade student at Gladesboro Elementary School who does not thank the lunch ladies for their meals every day. Not only is she passionate about bringing out the best in her students day after day and year after year, but she's also offers assistance and mentoring and training to teachers and professionals in our school and throughout our county, because she sees and wants to be part of making them to be their best as well. She sees the potential and wants to be very much a part of that. She accomplishes more in one day than most people can do in a week. I think she has found the secret to youth and the secret to sleeping well at night. We are so blessed to have her at Gladesboro Elementary, and I can't tell you just how much I respect this lady. But enough of our words. This is what others had to say when nominating Ms. Whitaker for this recognition. Dr. Edwards has already mentioned the co-worker and how she feels about being in Ms. Whitaker's room. In the words of a former student, best teacher for helping me learn during online learning. She made fun videos and helped me learn a lot. And from a parent of a former student, she made the best and most fun of educational videos during the online learning to help the kids get excited to learn at home. She is patient and kind and very helpful with the kids and made it fun for them to learn. And we know that that was a very difficult time when anybody could find much enjoyment in the challenges associated with online learning. It's clear that Ms. Whitaker is exceptionally deserving of this recognition. So, Ms. Whitaker, please join us. Here we go. There you have it. Good job. Take your turn. He's really good, isn't he?
And I'm sitting here going like, you're really smiling under this mask, like, why? Did we do that? Thank you. I guess so our eyes were, but thank you for everything you did. Thank you.
Next item is Staff Member of the Month, Mr. Questenberry.
Thank you, gentlemen. Our staff member of the month, this month, probably earned it over the past 12 months. So I'm glad we finally get to recognize her. Will Ms. Paris please come up? Staff member of the month is Ms. Amanda Paris. She's administrative assistant to both curriculum instruction and to human resources. And those two, one of those by themselves is enough. Both of those together is a lot. But she has taken this on with head of steam from the get-go. From day one, we knew we had gotten lucky and were able to find Ms. Paris. Back, Mr. Campbell and I, we were interviewing a couple of years ago. Amanda has been around in the county for a long time, knows everyone, as we have found out. And her connections has made it possible for us to do so much for the school system, our students, and the community. Some of the major items that we will talk about tonight. From the instructional side, she is in charge of the homeschool program, which has become its own entity of late, and she is taking care of all of that daily chores of homeschool. She's also in charge of special situation testing, which means the students that are not coming to us in person, they still have to be tested. Amanda's taking care of those, taking care of all the pencil and paper testing that we have to do that is out of the norm nowadays, so that's a chore in itself. On the human resources side, she helps almost take care of all of the sub-training for us. She coordinates all that, gets everybody in line, makes sure that everything's good to go once they come to the training. And when they leave there, we can get them into our sub binder quickly. thing that she does for us has to do with this year last year we did the retiree recognition. We had to miss the Friendship Festival for 1 year, and then we were going to miss it again last year. But we had the idea that we need to recognize these folks somehow, some way. So Amanda came up with this idea of the gift cards and recognizing them at the school board meeting. So with her connections, we were able to get all these restaurants in town to offer up their services and make it easy for us to do the $25 gift cards to recognize our retirees. The last thing we want to mention, which was huge for us, was the back to school bash. This was a major endeavor. The fun that everybody had, the enjoyment, the community support, the positives that we got back from it. You don't see, it's like the duck on water. It looks so graceful sitting there, but underneath it's treading went crazy. And that was Amanda before it all started. All the vendors that were there, Amanda took care of them. The school supplies that we gave out to every single student. I mean, we had 1,000 kids show up, I'm sure, and they all got school supplies. The DJ, and then the farmer's market. Let's get the farmer's market involved in this, because they usually have their thing up on Main Street. Let's get them to come and join this, and they loved it too. They want us to do it all the time. So those are just four or five highlights that what Amanda does that were huge, that everybody got to see. Every day she's wonderful. We can't do this without her. We appreciate her so much, and she is a very worthy winner for our staff members. Thank you very much.
Very quickly, I just want to say, I had the opportunity to work with Bob and Brian throughout my tenure at Carroll County as well. And one of the things that I was most passionate about in that position was just the community outreach portion of that and being able to make a difference within the community and the kids. And so being able to do that on the school level and having the opportunity and the support with you guys allowing us to do that has been phenomenal. And I hope that we'll only make the next one greater and bigger and better. But I certainly couldn't do it without most of the folks that are sitting behind me, because I had to beg and borrow favors. None of those things get done with just one person, but I greatly appreciate the recognition, and I appreciate the opportunity to work with you folks.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Mr. Questenberry, I'd like to say that one of the most important things we do for children is when they come to school, you show a smile and you say a kind word to them, because they all enjoy those things. And sadly, a lot of them just don't get a kind word or a compliment at home. And I go from that to say that I've always felt that we can never do enough to compliment the staff. Yeah, they cry and they don't want to do it, and don't make me do that, you know. However, they deep down, they appreciate it very much. And I just tell you that, I don't mean to speak for the board, but I think it is very important that we recognize the staffs throughout the county and individuals, we single them out and give them a pat on the back and a smile. If it's good enough for kids, why wouldn't it be good enough for adults, okay? Amen.
Thank you. Next would be recognition of Senior of the Month, Dr. Burnett.
Ms. Robinson, if you don't mind coming up here and joining me. Miss Emma Hill, Emma, would you mind coming up and joining us as well? Emma is our first Senior of the Month for the 2021-22 school year, and I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Robinson if you want to.
Thank you, absolutely. Emma, congratulations. I just want to read the nomination for you so you can hear what somebody had to say about you. I don't have Emma this year, but she continues to be a very eager, strong student and a bright light in our hallways. She is always smiling, you can tell even with her mask on. I constantly see her helping others, talking to teachers, and overall making everyone feel awesome. She is genuinely an amazing young lady who will go very far in life. I am sure if you talk to her current teachers, they will tell you more of the same. So congratulations, Emma. Thank you.
Congratulations, Emma.
Now I've got to move it this way. I had her blocking you, never mind. Kind of like the hokey pokey thing. Okay, here we go. All right. Picture. 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations. Let's see, we got time to do this. So next on our agenda is approval of the agenda. Do I have any motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion made, any second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Martin seconded, so motion first and seconded, any discussion? Hearing no discussion, those in favor of approving the agenda as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the agenda is approved. We have a few minutes before public comment. Is there a motion concerning the consent agenda? There's several things on that. What's the board's will?
Mr. Chairman, can I make a recommendation that we pull items out individually, consent agenda?
Okay.
Discuss?
All right, let's go ahead, we'll use our time wisely. Approval of the minutes, Ms. Questenberry.
You have those in your packet?
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Okay, been a first and a second, any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the minutes as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the minutes the minutes as presented are approved. Item B, approval of payment of bills. Ms. Questenberry?
You have in your packet the check run for tonight. It is for food service and the general operating account. If those are approved tonight, they will then be released tomorrow.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Motion first and seconded, any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approving the payment of bills as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, item B, approval of payment of bills is approved. I don't know which of the, we only have a minute.
We
Let's
can do
just-
C.
Pardon me?
We can do C.
Okay,
If
approval
you're
of
okay with
appropriate, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Ms. Questenberg.
You have attached the additional appropriation. This is state and federal money that we have received. It does not require a local match. This is our third round of CARES funding for the $8.3 million. I also received a GoTech vocational grant at the high school, and then the Virginia Foundation for Healthy Youth will serve the Ray Center. The Board of Supervisors has been notified of these, and that they will be coming down tomorrow once approved. Due to the volume of the money, they will require a public hearing, so you will see that set by the Board of Supervisors in the next month.
Haven't heard that presentation. Do I have a motion concerning item C?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All right, have a first and a second. Any discussion? Hearing no discussion, those in favor of approving item C as presented signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, item C, appropriation of additional funds request is approved as presented. And we'll pause there and move to our public comment. I believe Ms. Questenberry is retrieving the sign up. I see a lot of people leaving. Thank y'all for being here tonight. Appreciate that. Ms. Questenberry, do we have individuals signed up?
We do. I have one that has emailed their comments in. I'll read those if you all are ready.
Okay.
And this is from Michelle Leonard. I feel it is time for me to voice my opinion as a parent of a child at Carroll County Middle School. It has been long enough, time to get rid of the mask and social distancing. It is time for children to live life and stop causing fear and emotional distress because of a virus that has 99% survival rate. You are killing their immune system every day. It is ridiculous, and I am a nurse. This should be the parent's choice, not the government, city, state, or county. Please quit with your dictatorship and fight our governor on this stupidity. God is in control, and you all need to remember that. J. Michelle Leonard.
Okay, we'll have that into the record. Is anyone else signed up?
Yes, we don't have any more that have came in on email, but we do have Mr. Chris Kelly.
All right, I'll recognize Chris Kelly. If you will, come forward, sir. You have 5 minutes from the time you start speaking, okay?
Good evening, gentlemen. My name is, and ladies, my name is Chris Kelly. I am a service-connected, total and permanent disabled veteran. I am a small business owner in Carroll County. My oldest son is 24 years old, getting ready to turn 25. He graduated Carroll County High School. He went to NASCAR Tech, and he now works at Ball Boat. He never had one time, not one single time in his career at Carroll County school system of getting in trouble on a school bus, being in trouble with principal, teachers, or otherwise. He had perfect grades all the way through school. My daughter just graduated Carroll County High School this last school year, 2021. She graduated May 14th with an Associate's in Business Management from Whitfield Community College with honors, magna cum laude, and she graduated Carroll County High School with an advanced diploma, National Honor Society, Governor's Seal, Board of Education Seal, summa cum laude. She maxed it out. My youngest son is 12 years old. He's at middle school now. He plays on Larry Snow's little fall ball travel ball team. He plays on another travel ball team. He's a great baseball player. He's got natural talent. He makes straight A's. He's in advanced classes in 7th grade. He's in advanced math and advanced English, whatever it is they've got him in, it's all advanced. His goal is not only to be the best on the Carroll County High School baseball team when his day comes, but to also match or beat, if he can, what his sister did academically. Now I say this because I want you to understand where I'm coming from as a parent. I don't cut my kids any slack. Matter of fact, those that know me, I don't cut anybody any slack. I call to task my son, my children, and anybody I see acting out of character for their position in this world. I don't care what your position is. I hold nobody in any higher regard than myself. Now, that being said, while I myself only have a high school diploma and some college, I built my business from the ground up that wasn't there on a computer tethering to a BlackBerry, using my computer skills in website design and programming, my mechanic skills and knowing what, because I'm a mechanic by trade as well, and started selling parts and building trucks. That being said, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I know how to read data. I know how to read the information associated with the mask mandates, the effectiveness of masks, and what they can do to our children wearing them 6 to 8 hours a day. And I'm going to tell you right now, it doesn't make sense. Everybody in this room tonight had a mask on except for me, and it doesn't make any sense that you're wearing your masks. They don't stop viral spread. It's proven. It says on the box when you buy them. Those blue masks right there. You look on the box when you buy them, and it says right on them, they do not stop viral spread. But we're forcing my son to wear a mask at school 6 to 8 hours a day and risk being segregated from his friends and others if it falls below his nose. his risk of bacterial infection is much higher than his risk of COVID. As a matter of fact, if you sterilize his entire world, you make his risk of a worse infection or response to COVID even worse, because his immune system doesn't have the opportunity to build itself up against COVID or otherwise. Now that's what I have to say about the masks. Now here's what I have to say about the trans bathroom issue. You're doing it wrong. I was here on the first meeting when they had 600 people. I stood right there. I was almost thrown out by Dr. Littrell, or Dr. Burnett, I'm sorry. Now, here's what I have to say about that. You went automatically to $2.5 million budget plan to build new bathrooms in the middle school and high school. When that didn't work out and you saw or wound up with opposition, you went to a smaller plan. And I applaud that. You're looking for options, but, and this is going to run just a hair long, spending $500,000 to convert bathrooms to non-gender specific single-use bathrooms when we already have them, directly proportional to the number of trans students that we have at Carroll County High School, it's fiscally irresponsible, it's wasteful, and and from what I saw, we had 600 people in direct opposition to it. We had 8 that supported it. And what the citizenry and the board of supervisors wanted didn't matter. You moved on with your agenda anyway. If you will give me 10 seconds, I want to.
You have 10 seconds.
I'm in favor of him having extended time.
Go ahead, finish up.
I have brought an option to the board tonight, brought by the Whitfield School Board. Now, I can read it verbatim, or I can paraphrase. In the interest of time, I'll paraphrase. But what they've done is, they have the same single-use gender-neutral bathrooms that Carroll County has in every school. We've got them in every school. We've had them for years. Carroll County was proactive enough years ago to do that because you saw this coming. I have to believe you saw it coming when you did it, because that's what you said then. But what they're doing isn't costing them a dime. They are implementing a policy where if you have a transgender student, that transgender student can come see the school administration to let the school administration know and understand their position in life, what they believe, how they want to live. It doesn't matter. But they make accommodations for that student so that that student can do whatever it is they want to do according to whatever gender they identify as. But in doing so, they are making accommodations for these students without alienating the other students, without spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on renovations for something we already have.
Sir, I'm gonna ask you, if you will, if you have a copy of a proposal you'd like for the board to review, I'll ask you is that your only copy?
This is my only copy now.
I'd ask if you could tender that to maybe the clerk and let her she can make a photocopy of that. I don't know if she can do that.
I pulled that directly off of their Facebook page today.
Okay, and I'll let her take a picture and disseminate that to the board to review. And I hope you understand, we've tried to be very lenient, but
Oh, yeah,
we have allowed you extra time, but we will take a look at what you've done, and she will get us a copy of that, okay?
One last thing before I go. I'm in direct opposition of both, but I understand the position you guys are in. I appreciate the back and forth and the extension of time. I sincerely do, but we're doing this wrong, guys. I truly believe we are.
Thank you for coming to speak.
Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Questenberry, is anyone else?
No, sir, there's not, and no one has emailed in.
Okay, so hearing none, we'll close public comment at 6:09. Next on our agenda, I believe we got through item C. We'll move to item D, approval of appropriation of transfer of surplus property to Whitfield Community College.
This would allow us to transfer 2 of our older buses over to WCC. They are going to work with us and their workforce training program to help train bus drivers. This gives them the ability to do that. These are 1990 models that we have, so we could certainly do without these in our fleet. They're not ones that we're operating every day.
Okay.
And they need that to help with our training, correct?
Correct. And we would transfer title over, take them off of our insurance, they would become their property.
The biggest issue we have with training is, once they're trained, they have to go to either Abington or Martinsville to be tested. it is about a 2-month backlog. Well, we know we need bus drivers, we need them soon. And by the time they get through the training, they've lost interest, to be quite honest. So this will allow us to do the testing at Crossroads through Whitfield Community College, who has been granted permission by the Department of Motor Vehicles to conduct that testing.
Okay. All right, is there a motion with regard to this?
I'll make a motion to approve the.
I'll second that.
Okay, having a first and a second, any discussion? Anybody have any questions? I've got one. Just to be clear, when we do this, will they be, what counties do they provide training for?
Carroll, Grayson, Gay-Lyles.
So it's all, okay. And will we still, will that bring to an end our own training program that we have?
No, and we have another class ready to go. We have 4 people that are signed up. Bill is working with them to see what is a good date for them. He's done some on Saturdays, which seems to have helped folks, but he's polling the group and going ahead and get that set up. But he's got 4 right now signed up for it.
So this will essentially expand our net, so to speak, if we can do this. And I'll just add, as part of the discussion on this, I've been at least aware of a number of school divisions that have actually had missed days, closed school days because of bus driver issues. So I applaud the effort on behalf of you guys to try to expand what we're trying to do. So I'm sorry. Thank you, gentlemen. Any other comments or questions? All right, we have a first and a second. Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the motion passes. As to item D. Item E is the issue of approval of appropriation of architectural and engineering services regarding bathroom renovations. It's just I believe, related to drawings, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll ask Ms. Questenberry.
This is securing an architectural firm to begin the work of looking at the bathrooms, come up with drawings. We need an architect on board to do this. We had interviewed numerous architects a couple of months ago when we were talking about renovations at the high school. We would like to continue with the same firm since they are familiar with the high school and can hit the ground running. This would just be securing the architectural services.
Okay, you've heard that. Any motion with regard to this?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the architectural and engineering services.
Any motion with a second or?
Second.
Any discussion?
I'd just like to say one thing on this issue. As we're looking at this, we have no public access handicap bathrooms in our high school. So if we're looking at these single stars, I think for the extra little money it would cost for handicap bars, for the commodity in the walls, we need to make all these bathrooms handicap accessible.
All of the bathrooms but one would be handicap accessible, because there's one that there's not enough space to
Perfect.
do that.
I understand that, okay.
Any other discussion from the gentleman?
I'd like to say that a lot of the things the board deals with bothers me to the point that I have considered stepping down off the school board, okay? But what choice do you have at times? And I feel like sometimes we're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, and whatever decision you make is, you get mud on your face. And I probably have had more comments and so forth over the bathrooms than anything else. And frankly, it's hard for me personally not to agree with what you just said, okay? But we went through the legalities of the whole thing, and we're sort of on thin ice with it, I wrestle with it. It's not any fun sometimes to be on the school board. And it's not any fun for me a lot of times, and it bothers me. I'm not sure I need to be laughing my way through every meeting, but I shouldn't be bothered so much with it, and I try to make the best decision I can, but I don't feel good about some of these decisions. I mean, I don't care if it is the best that we could do. It just bothers me, and let's see it.
Yeah, but let me comment there also. And most certainly, you know, Mr. Martin, I hear everything you're saying. But again, the Fourth Circuit gave the legal right to every student, if we just look at our school, at every student at Carroll County, to use the bathroom of choice. It makes no difference what policy Whitfield has or what policy we might pass. We cannot trump the Fourth Circuit. And, you know, I guess I hear what you're saying, but I'll look at it differently. I don't think we're doing anything other than renovating our bathrooms and giving a private bathroom to every student. And I go back to what I said, I guess 3 weeks ago, including Galax, Grayson County, and Wythe County. I've now talked to probably over 200 students. In football games, I've yet to find a single student that doesn't support this. And that's kind of interesting, because we're here to serve a community of students. And I hear the comments, but I'm not familiar with single-serve bathrooms that we have in Carroll County. Because when you go in a door and you've got stalls, you don't have single-use bathrooms. I have a 10th grade daughter who waits to come home to use the restroom because she doesn't have a private bathroom. We don't have multi-use bathrooms in our homes. We go to single-use bathrooms. Now, given a choice, you're 40 minutes from home, stopping at Hardee's and going in that bathroom, or making it home. How many people try to make it home? So I guess I'm confused, because when the kids say, yes, give me a bathroom that I can go in and it's private, why would we not support that? Because the backside of that, it solves this problem. So when, you know, a kid that identifies as a transgender male tomorrow can go into any female bathroom we have at Carroll County High School, period. And if we stop that student, we're open to litigation. And if we have 60 single-use bathrooms, that problem doesn't exist anymore. So I'm a little confused. You know, to me, it just seems we're serving our students. When every kid says, yes, give me a bathroom that I can go to privately, that's not a stall. That is not a private bathroom. We need to wrap our hands around that. There's nothing private of walking in one door with 6 stalls when everybody on the planet is walking around with a camera. I can do this right here and take pictures over that stall. And that ends up on wherever. Kids don't have privacy, and they want it. So I guess I encourage us to look at the opportunity. And I don't think everybody's seeing it the right way. We had 600 people here. We didn't have 600, but if you had 600, they were opposed to a transgender student going into a bathroom of choice. They weren't opposed to a private bathroom. I didn't hear that from anyone. So we're giving a private bathroom. So I just wanted to get that off my chest. I mean, I don't understand, and we're talking about teenagers, why we wouldn't embrace giving our 16, 17, 18-year-old kids the ability to go to the restroom in private. So, sorry.
Can I clarify one thing?
Sorry.
No. Public comments closed.
Thank you. That's what I wanted to say.
There are single-use bathrooms that aren't just stalls.
Yeah.
There are
Appreciate it. I'm sure there's 1 or 2, not 70. There's 1,500 kids. Okay, the bell rings, they want to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Go on, Joe.
all of my daughter's friends had the opposite reaction when I talked to them about the same issue. Not all the kids are supporting this, just so you know.
Thank, all right, thank you.
I'd like to say that I've had 4 school law classes myself, and I understand that if the Supreme Court says that let's stand the Fourth Circuit, I understand all that, okay? But and I think I will point out to the board that we, in elementary school, every pre-K and kindergarten, and I don't know how high it goes, it may change first or second probably, that they have an individual private bathroom that the kids can go in one at a time in their room. And the only problem I've had with that is that the truth's the truth. Little boys peed on everything, and I had to put custodians in there mopping the bathrooms with disinfectant 7 times in one day. And, you know, and I understand both sides of it. I just, I think we made the best decision we could, and I think, as you say and point out, it probably accomplishes the most things, but just, it's difficult,
Sure.
at times to make right decisions.
I don't think any of us chose this.
Yeah.
You know, this wasn't, nobody chose this, none of our citizens chose it, we didn't choose it.
Well, I would just like to comment the fact that our legislators, our state legislators did this to us. They put us in this position to where that they said you cannot refuse a student who wants to do that. I mean, so they have put us in this position. So I think, you know, it's sad, I think it's very sad that we're in this position and that our state is the ones that's promoting. So
I think it's time to stand up for the state.
Yeah.
Y'all have a good night.
So that's the sad part.
I'm a whole lot on board with what you say, and a whole lot on board with what everybody says.
I hate to say it, but I'm in the bill camp. I have a daughter that graduated, God, it's been too long ago, 7 years ago. She never went to the bathroom at the middle school or high school because she refused to because of the lack of privacy and decency in those areas. My current daughter, who is in 10th grade, has yet to go to the bathroom since 5th grade or 6th, for the same thing. So they're applauding this, and I've talked to my daughter's friends, and they're all girls that I've talked to, but I've talked to about 18 of them in the last 2 weeks, and not one of them is opposed to this position. They all applaud the fact that they're going to have privacy in the bathroom. And being somebody that was in a wheelchair 16 years ago, when I go to a game, and I go to a volleyball game, and I have to ask who's the administrator on duty, and then we have to find that administrator, and then he has to walk me down the hallway to a special ed classroom to unlock the door so I could go in and use the bathroom of that special ed classroom, and while he's out in the hallway waiting. That is so demoralizing and dehumanizing to somebody who is trying to fight their way back out of a wheelchair. And I'm applauding the fact that we're going to finally have God knows how many handicap bathrooms, and I don't see a negative thing about it, and it's under 500,000, and I think it's about time we've done this. So thank the Lord, and let's vote. Again, make the motion to approve the architectural.
Can I say
You did.
one more thing, and that's, I'll leave it at that.
Well, I still got something to say, so go ahead.
We've got, this building has plumbing that's 50-some years old. It's time to replace that plumbing.
Yeah. You know, and again, and I know, Joe, you want to say something. If we were simply talking about renovating our bathrooms, who would be arguing against that? And we can renovate our bathrooms and solve a problem at the same time. I get confused of how we're standing against that. And you know, I hear the gentleman spoke, he said his kids don't support that. I want him to come in here. I want someone to find some high school kids that would say, I don't want a private bathroom. I want to meet those kids. I don't know, you know, where they would be coming from. But again, if Dr. Burnett had just said, the plumbing's 50 years old, we're going to renovate all our bathrooms, no one in Carroll County would oppose it, in the whole county. So I don't understand how community members are still tying renovated bathrooms to a transgender issue, because it's now no longer a transgender issue. So I'm sorry, Dr. Burnett, go ahead, or Joey, Mr. Haynes.
Now, all I'm gonna add, just 2 or 3 points, I think it fits in good just for everybody to take away from this. If I read correctly, the lawsuit that had been filed by Gloucester County that initiated this whole thing, just within the past, and I've had to be out for some health reasons, so my timetable may be a little off, but I think within the last 2 to 3 weeks, as we've been saying, everybody talks about litigation costs. The ACLU, the damages, the cost of fighting that fight and losing, equated to $1.8 million that the school system has to pay in legal fees alone to the ACLU. That's not the legal fees that the school system might have and likely spent themselves. So,
And the civil suits.
well, that's it. I mean, this was a suit that was civil in nature, when it was done, but just you know, tracking this thing, once the Supreme Court, and you know, I want everybody to also at least take away from this, there's something of a pecking order with the way that this issue, you know, came down, this Gloucester decision. It's been up and down over the last few years. It was just resolved, I believe it was back in, I think, May, that they had applied to the Supreme Court. The Fourth Circuit opinion was issued some time ago, and the Fourth Circuit opinion actually predated what action the legislature took. The action that the legislature took seemed to me to be a lot more expansive than even what the issue was that the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals dealt with. And again, I'm talking as a school board member, not as a lawyer, but I'd be remiss, you know, I'd have to keep up with these things. But the Fourth Circuit opinion dealt primarily with this issue of you know, transgender issues and bathroom, you know, certain issues about you know, pronoun use equated with that type thing. But the state attempt and you know, what the state attempted to do was to take that and make it a much broader interpretation of what those were. So I just, you know, I think it's important when we're talking about this to understand, you know, which came first, the chicken or the egg. Well, in this case, if you take that, it was, you know, the federal court has taken up that issue, and when the Supreme Court refused to give any legs to the appeal that the school system made, it essentially until something else happened, made that the law of, at least the law of the Fourth Circuit, of which Virginia is a part, and it gave breath to the position of the state when that happened. But I thought that was interesting, and you know, just all, you know, the things that we've set up here and the concerns we've raised. You know, I don't mind saying, just this week I received a letter from the ACLU. You know, they're making threats now to all of the school systems that essentially didn't adopt the model policies. Like I say, we believe our policies are, and you know, we've stood on that. But just to let everybody know, I mean, this is not a thing that I want to be clear. It's not a situation where we as a school board have just rolled over and went with the flow.
Right.
If I compare this to a river, there's many things that's been dumped in the water upstream. Unfortunately, we're down at the dam head, and this stuff, as it washes down, it's left here for the localities to deal with. And that's the way that I process the picture of the situation that we're in. I just encourage folks, and this is the last thing, but obviously this is something people are passionate about. It's not going to go away. I said that at the Board of Supervisors meeting. I just strongly encourage people, reach out to your state lawmakers, reach out and, encourage them to do what they can do to address these issues if you're unhappy with it. Because, the way that the way our system of law and the way our government's structured, there are just so many things, as was stated here tonight, that we're just left with. So thank y'all. Yes, Mr. Martin?
It's been my experience over the years that if you want to get the ear of the citizens of the county, to get the temperament up, you used the word mandatory. Y'all remember when we had mandatory hookups? The entire Board of Supervisors got beat, and I think they may have cleaned house on the school board. And it's cause the word mandatory, and a little bit of that's in me, but I think if we could have we could have worked on a 50-year issue and the board decided how to deal with that, I think we'd have probably come up with the same thing that the Fourth Circuit wanted us to do. Enough said, but it's a mandatory issue, and I can tell you that is a bad word in Carroll County citizens.
All right, thank you. If there's no more comments, we have a motion, first and second. I think we've heard from every board member. Those in favor of approving item E signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, item E is approved. Then we'll move to item F, approval of the roofing project bid at Carroll County High School, Gladesboro Elementary School, and Laurel. Ms. Questenberry.
If you'll remember when we wrote our CARES 2 application, that we were going to use all of that money to replace boilers, roofs at 3 schools, and window replacement in that order. That was our priority. That was approved. In July, we put out the bids for the roofs. Those came back in last week. You have that bid summary form in there. They did come out a little higher than we expected. This is for a TPO roof with a 20-year warranty, fully adhered, R30, so we feel like we've spec'd out a good roof. So you see the prices that those came back, and again, they're a little bit high. We worked with the architect, came up with some VE options. I put those in your packet if you can pull this little spreadsheet out like this. Behind it, you have some options to help us reduce the cost. There are 5 options in here. What we are recommending is that we go ahead and approve the roof bid with VE options 1, 2, and 3, which will bring the cost back down. We had budgeted 1.38, that comes in now at 1.43, if you'll see on your sheet there. The thing that's probably going to be lost out of our budget is the window replacement. That was 3rd on our list of priorities. So the focus now has turned to replacement of the boilers and the roofs. This would fully cover Carroll County High School, and we would have a warranty for the first time in ages over the entire roof. Okay? We've probably not been at that point since we had the roof put on initially. So the high school would be in good shape. So comments, thoughts?
I'm tickled to death.
Sounds good, yeah.
It is something that we had hoped to get started on. We are now understanding from every roofing contractor that we have talked to is it's a 6 to 8 month lead time on the materials and supplies. This means it's going to be a spring job. This money is still good through '23, but we are getting our place in the line before everybody else does. So by approving these tonight, we would let the roofing company know tomorrow. They would get the materials ordered again, knowing it's gonna be months before those items come back again.
I think you've done a great job.
Yeah, thanks for your hard work on that. All right, any motion regarding item F?
And if you
Oh, I'm
would,
sorry,
it would
I thought
really
you
need to be to approve it along with VE items 1, 2, and 3, if you all are comfortable with that. And again, maintenance is comfortable with it, our architect is comfortable with it, and we're still gonna have a quality roof. Still a
So-
20-year warranty.
So
Still-
what motion
I
would,
move to approve the roofing project for the for the county with VE options 1, 2, and 3.
Are you saying V is in Victor, E is in?
Value
Value engineer.
Value engineer.
Thank you, that's what I thought.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor of approving item F, including VE, and again, was that 1, 2, and 3? Items 1,
One, two,
VE
and
1, 2, and 3 signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, the motion passes. Item F is approved.
We will notify them tomorrow and get in line.
Okay. Under number 6, field trip request, Mr. Campbell.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to share the field trip requests from our students for the 2021 school year. If you have any questions about those, we'll be happy to try to answer them. But we are seeking your approval for these field trips tonight.
Okay,
we don't have an itemized list of those, or?
it was in the.
Yeah,
it's in your packet.
Okay.
All right, any motion regarding this?
I would make a motion to approve the field trip request as presented.
Okay, is there a second?
I would strongly make a second of support.
Okay, any discussion? Hearing no discussion, those in favor of approving the field trip request as presented, signify by saying aye. Those opposed? Hearing no opposition, item 6A, field trip request is approved. Report of the superintendent, policy system for Carroll County Schools.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In your package, you have first read-through on policy systems for the school. We have 2 policies that are being revised. And like, if you have any questions on them, I'll be more than happy to try and answer those.
Again, this is first reading, correct?
This is first reading. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
All right, any questions at this time? No? All right, item B, 10th day of school profile, Dr. Burnett.
Yes, sir. 10th day of school profile. We had an enrollment of 3,391 students on our 10th day. That's down from the enrollment that we had last year, but it was above our projections. So we're pleased with that. While I'm talking about the profile, I'd also like to bring up our COVID dashboard. It's out on our website. It's available for anybody to see by clicking on our website and going to the COVID news tab on the upper left side. As of yesterday, we have 21 student cases and 79 quarantines in Carroll County Public Schools. We have 7 staff cases and 4 quarantines. This is, it's been difficult, but our nurses have worked themselves silly trying to do all the contact tracing along with the health department and keeping our kids safe and healthy, and those that we have been exposed, making sure that they're quarantined. And I'll say again, the majority of those exposures aren't happening in school. And it's because of the protocols that we have. Our social distancing, mask wearing protocols, and I have to think too that it's because of the air scrubbers that we installed installed in our HVAC system last year. Every bit of air that's recirculated through that building is clean. And I have to feel that that has made a huge difference with us. Our next item is August attendance. Glayville Elementary School is our attendance winner for the month, Mr. Campbell, with a 96.72% attendance rate for the month of August. And in the midst of a pandemic, and you're having a 96, almost a 97% attendance rate, that's pretty daggone good.
It's pretty good, and yeah, very good.
You're paying those kids to come to school now, admit it.
And excellent for the whole division.
Yes.
95.5
Yeah.
is pretty good. That's
Sure is.
very nice.
You know, while he's doing the picture, I get in and out of school a good bit with the other work that I do and everything. And I tell you, these kids they're happy to be back.
Oh, amen.
Yeah, just so excited, and I see, not to interrupt Dr. Manette, but, you know, the diligence of all our staff, in carrying out our mitigation strategies, you know, that I've observed and everything. I just really want to thank everybody for staying the course, and, you know, I've seen school divisions around us, and again, we're not, who knows what the future holds for us, but I've seen divisions around us have different other steps they've had to take, and, you know, I just feel real good about where we are. I just want to say that. Excuse me for interrupting you.
Last thing that I'd like to discuss is we have a group called Secure Future Solar that would like to present at our next month's board meeting on the utilization of the solar panels for electricity at several of our school sites. Placed the information at your seats from the company that kind of outlines what they're doing and gives a board brief. The company is out of the Harrisonburg area, so it's a Virginia company, local company, and I think it's very much worth exploring.
All right. Just a little on that, if we went the solar panel route, I know it's it's a savings because of our electric bills, but they take it on as a debt thing, so we would have to actually get the board of supervisors also to approve. Because this would be like a construction process, right?
Since it's a municipality, I think it'd have to go through the board of supervisors.
Okay. That's what I was just wondering.
I would think so. They're looking at both roof mount and ground mounted panels, depending on the location. I attached those in your packets for you to look at. But,
And on the projected savings, are they giving a yearly cleaning of those panels, or did they not?
they maintain the panels. The panels are theirs, they have to maintain those for the full period of time that they have them there.
All 30 years.
I think after 25 years, they become ours.
Thank you.
I've got one question, just, I guess hearing this so soon after talking about roofing projects, I'm sure they do this all the time, but one thing I'd like to be sure about is that if there's any of these things to be installed in the area where our roof projects are, I'd like a clear understanding about what that might do to our warranty.
It would not affect our warranty because they're not penetrating the roof system. They're mounted on the roof. It's a ballast type system, but they work with the roof manufacturer with the warranties. So he'll explain all of that.
And that's fine, I mean, I'd like to make sure that that's addressed.
That was one of our first
Yeah,
concerns.
that's one of our
Okay.
concerns is that, yeah.
Okay, all right, well, thank you very much, so we'll review that.
I guess I just need permission from you guys to invite this gentleman at to our next meeting.
Oh, absolutely.
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I believe that gets us down to, report of other staff members. Mr. Questenberry, school crisis management plans for 21-22.
Thank you, guys. You have in your packet a copy of the division crisis plan. I have over there last year's, of course, crisis management plans evolve as time goes on, but ours is pretty up to date with current standards and expectations. Not many changes we get to make this year other than staff. But if you would like to see those, you're more than welcome to. We do not put those out to the public. And our revision plan is right there for you to take a look at. If you have any questions, I'll try to answer.
Thank you.
Thank you for the work.
Okay, thank you.
Item 8B, extended school year grant update. Mr. Campbell?
This is typically the time of year, board meeting month, that we come to you and provide you a quick update on the closeout report for our extended school year grant for the prior year. And we have completed that closeout report. But more importantly, we wanted to share with you, maybe just more or less as a moment of celebration, that we were awarded an extended school year grant this year to the tune of about $88,000. And we're excited about the opportunity that it's going to provide for our students this year. We're working with Nina Reese at Carroll County High School. She manages the Teachers for Tomorrow program there. And she's establishing what we call a book club program that's going to bring her Teachers for Tomorrow students into the elementary schools. And they'll facilitate ongoing book club meetings with elementary students. It'll culminate with activities that they do and also small-scale field trips that tie in what they have read about with activities that are going on in their day-to-day lives. So funding is going to allow for an hourly rate of pay for our student leaders, which we think is pretty cool, and we're excited about that. Allow us to purchase a large number of books that will stay in the hands of our children. And of course, we'll also covering arts and crafts that are associated with those activities. So we think this is going to be a fantastic opportunity for our younger kids to connect with some really strong role models at the high school level. Let them see reading as a fun activity and have somebody that they can kind of look up to and model themselves in their own behavior. So more or less just a point of information that we just wanted to share with you and kind of celebrate just a little bit. I'll add very quickly as well, just as a quick update while I'm up here on our Edgenuity curriculum and the online virtual instruction program there. We are right in the middle of the process by which we're reviewing the curriculum in Edgenuity. We have a group of teachers from the Region 7 Comprehensive Instructional Program cohort. They're coming together, and we're going to start by auditing, reviewing English 11, Math 8, English 8, Grade 3 Math and English. And essentially, we're just checking for correlation between the material that they're providing in Edgenuity and our Virginia standards to assure that those are aligned very closely. Nothing more, nothing less. We anticipate the results of that audit will be available on or around October 22nd. So the kind of timeline we've set there is to have some real clear answers on the quality of that curriculum on October 22nd. So more than happy to answer any questions that you guys may have about that, but super excited about this book club, the new initiative we've got going there with Miss Reese and her Teachers for Tomorrow at the high school.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do appreciate Mr. Hendrick bringing that to our attention, that there were some things in that curriculum that didn't match up to Virginia standards.
Well, I guess, Mr. Campbell, I guess the question, to start with, it was kind of is it the teacher or is it the curriculum? So apparently it is the curriculum and not the teacher that was.
That's our understanding. And to further elaborate on that just a little bit, Mr. Hendrick, when we partnered with Edgenuity, we did provide them with our Virginia standards and our pacing guides that we used, or that we use here in Carroll County Region 7. I think what we have found, just preliminary review, is that they have added all of the content from the Virginia standards and the Region 7 pacing guide, but they haven't taken anything away. So I think this process is going to result in maybe quite a bit of material being taken away from that curriculum. So we feel like that'll be a more positive experience for our kids.
Yeah. Appreciate you taking a look.
Thank you very much for that and all your all the work of the team. I believe that gets us up to the financial report.
You have your report in your packet that gets us up through August. That is our first cycle where we have a full pay cycle for all of our 10, 11, and 12-month employees, so we'll pretty well use those numbers to continue to guide us through the next several months. Federal reimbursements are continuing to come in. We are drawing down our CARES funding out of our round one, all of our additional GEARS funding, so we're trying to wrap some of those items up. But be happy to answer any questions that you have. Just getting started, so.
Good deal. Appreciate
That's
what you
good,
do. And I believe that brings us up to closed meeting.
Pursuant to section 2.23711A of the Code of Virginia, I move the board convene a closed meeting for the purpose of discussing the following specific matters: the discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salaries, disciplining, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees as authorized by section 2.23711A1. The discussion or consideration of admission of disciplinary matters or any other matters that would involve the disclosure of information contained in a scholastic record concerning students as authorized by section 2.23711A2.
Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Mr. Spencer?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Hendrick?
Yes.
Mr. Sturgill? I vote yes. We are in closed session. Thank you, everybody, for everything that you